What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Ellie Moses. I am a 22-year-old law and film student here from Sydney, Australia. Shitty is shot, baby. And this is my Buffy sequel treatment I am here to pitch on my channel. I know that you guys that are probably new, that are just seeing this in your recommended or search feed probably think, who is this little pretentious kid pitching a Buffy sequel out of nowhere? He has no right to, but it is what I'm studying at uni. It is my passion. My passion is to make it in the industry, and you never know who could see this. So it is worth a shot, and hopefully you guys in the comment section can give me some feedback, pitch in your own ideas, and maybe we can build something together as a Buffy fan base. I just finished my first watch of the entire Buffyverse, including Angel, and this is a half a page treatment at the moment. It is something I wrote up about 2 weeks ago, right before I finished the Angel season 5, or the Angel series in general. So this is why this is probably a bit half cooked at the moment, but it is something which my screenwriting brain was just going fuzzy, and all the creative ideas were coming to my mind. I'm like, let me put some pen to paper and jot something down and pitch it on the channel, because like I said before, you never know. So this is my Buffy sequel treatment. It is a sequel treatment. It is not a reboot treatment. So I know the idea of a Buffy reboot today rubs people the wrong way, and a lot of people are scared with how the IP could be handled, but this is a sequel treatment, and you never know. Someone might like the idea, someone might see this from the industry and think, you know what, this might be worth a shot, and let's contact this kid. This is the massive long shot of all massive long shots. And I do have an MCU film treatment as well, which is a passion project of mine, which I wrote a 6-page treatment for, which I am going to pitch on the channel as well. But today we are talking Buffy. So let's get into the rundown of this treatment. Let's get into it. Let's go. So initially, I don't have the basis for a lot of characters in this treatment so far, because at the time of writing this, I did not know how Angel ended. So at the moment as well, I do not know the availability of Nicholas Brandon and Anthony Stewart Head, so I have not written anything about their characters. So what I've gone for is I've pitched Willow as a single mother with an adopted boy. Kennedy passed away during an experimentation with magic. I said Buffy is still single and is yet to have found the right man in her life. So again, tackling that inferiority and superiority complex which was present in the show of Buffy. I've gone with a new Slayer is activated. Now, in terms of casting a Slayer, I have gone with 2 main Slayers in this show, and I either want Jenna Ortega, Maya Hawke, or Sadie Sink to be casted in these roles. I don't know, I just really like those actresses, and I think they are perfect to play a young 16-year-old Slayer that's up and coming and is willing to learn a lot about the Slayer life. I just really am. At the same time, there's a little bit of bias with those actresses, but I think they are really talented in general. Now, I have also gone with Sunnydale's rebuilt from the ground up, with Sunnydale High, etc., the main road, the main strip, you know, all the nitty-gritties of Sunnydale. It is back to normal. So this is what I've gone with in terms of the 2 Slayers. Now, initially I had pitched a single Slayer, but then I thought of an idea that might be better, and this is what I've gone with. So I've gone with a new Slayer that's an orphan, and she tracks down Buffy, who ends up being that mother figure throughout the entire series. And what I've gone with is this culminating in an emotional adoption at the end of the season. So a new purpose in life for a single Buffy, who has had no luck in relationships, and obviously this sort of mother-daughter relationship is what the series is based on and what is built upon. And this Slayer is not going to be like a typical Mary Sue strong Slayer from the beginning. Obviously, she's going to have her faults. She's going to have to learn from Buffy, and at points, Buffy is going to have to come in clutch, you know, the veteran. She's always been that Slayer. She had to learn from her mistakes, and this is what she's going to have to teach this new and up-and-coming Slayer, and that relationship is going to develop throughout the entire series. You know, maybe at the start, Buffy can be a bit hesitant in teaching her, but obviously a new threat that arises in Sunnydale, which I would pitch the villain soon, is going to obviously lead to Buffy teaching this new and up-and-coming Slayer. Now, this second Slayer which I'm going to have is the daughter of Principal Wood and Faith. Now, some of you might like that idea, some of you might not, but that's how they come into the story with Principal Wood and Faith. That's how they come into the story. So I've gone with 2 Slayers where one Buffy has to mentor and Faith has to mentor her daughter. These 2 Slayers do not get along at Sunnydale, and this is due to their polar opposite personalities. You know, you have one raised by Principal Wood and Faith trying to imprint her teachings as a Slayer onto her daughter, and Buffy trying to imprint her own unique Slayer ways to her, I guess, young and up and coming Slayer. And these 2 personalities don't clash at Sunnydale High, and this is something they're going to have to overcome throughout the entire series. And I think this will be well founded on a couple Monster of the Week type episodes, which we saw in Buffy. And at the same time, the Monster of the Week type episodes were used to develop those character relationships. So that's what I plan to do. You have that tension between the two kids at school. They don't get along, polar opposite personalities, polar opposite, hobbies, things they enjoy, and they're going to have to end up coming together, and that relationship as well is going to be built upon the show, and it will cause some nice moments between Buffy, Faith, Principal Wood, and obviously the two young and up-and-coming Slayers. And obviously the two polar opposite personalities is probably a nod to early Buffy and Faith. You saw how their relationship tried to develop. You saw how they quite did not get along at the start. They were a little bit jealous of one another, and that is a nod to that relationship. But obviously, as the season went along and as they matured in age, you saw their relationship mature, and in season 7, Buffy and Faith sort of had that respect for each other. Now, in regards to Willow's son, he also attends Sunnydale High, and he develops a relationship with the Slayer that is mentored by Buffy, or is going to be mentored by Buffy. And I really want him to become the wizard of the show. So Willow teaches him the skills she has, and that's going to develop over the season as well. He's going to start as an amateur wizard, but at first, Willow is possibly hesitant to teach him because of what happened to Kennedy, and obviously because of the new threat that arises in Sunnydale, which I'm going to mention soon. That is what's going to happen. She's obviously going to have to make that decision to eventually teach him the basics of magic first, and then that's going to develop over the season. Hell, you can cast me as her son. I do not care. I would love to be casted. I've done a Buffy, audition sort of thing where I did a continuation of how one of the episodes in season 7 ended, but who knows, you could cast anyone as her son. So I think that'd be fantastic to have like the male version of Willow from Buffy obviously now inserted, so like just the tweak in the sequel and just have those roles reversed, and that would create an interesting dynamic to develop over the season as the trio forms this relationship. You have Faith's daughter, you have Buffy's sort of future daughter that she's mentoring, and then you have Willow's son. Now, I'm not sure if we should make this a quartet and introduce another individual that's more human-like, like a Xander type character. I'm not too sure yet, or maybe the trio is enough with the amount of characters you are tackling regarding, Principal Wood, Faith, Buffy, Spike that's going to come into the fray, the villain as well. So yeah, interested to see what you guys think about that, and let's move on to the villain. Now, the main villain I have gone for the season, and this is probably a little bit of bias on my part, but the main villain I have decided to pick for the season is Angelus. Yes, David Boreanaz is back as Angelus, and I'm going to tie this into kind of maybe Wolfram and Hart again being the big baddie of the season, something carrying over from Angel, where my main idea was possibly the senior partners attaining the soul of Angel and getting to him, and hence that's how Angelus is activated. Maybe about 3 or 4 episodes in the season, or maybe halfway through the season, we get the big baddie reveal where we have those couple Monster of the Week type episodes just to develop our characters a bit, to develop the new characters, to showcase that tension and friction and polar opposite personalities as I discussed before. But I really want Angelus to be the main villain of this show, because I think he's the best villain in the Buffyverse, and I think the way you can write him as sort of that, unhinged individual, unfiltered individual, and really unpredictable individual and vampire, it could really cause havoc in the show and can provide for some great moments. Obviously, for all you Buffy fans out there, I have not missed Spike. I would love to insert James Masters in the show somehow, and possibly reveal that he's still alive to Buffy, and maybe have that conversation where he's still yet to know. I know a lot of time has passed, so maybe Spike can return to Sunnydale and Buffy is shocked that he's still alive and like, why didn't you come back to me? And we have that conversation, and that's going to be an amazing conversation, similar to like the conversations Buffy and Spike had in season 7. We had that episode towards the latter end of the season where we had all our characters and couples, making out with one another, and Buffy and Spike had that emotional talk where they just hugged. They had that physical attachment, but it didn't need to culminate in sex or anything. And then you had that second episode in season 7 as well, that beautiful conversation with James Masters and Sarah Michelle Gellar in the church, and that fantastic use of lighting. So it's trying to recreate something like that, obviously trying to be unique and original at the same time. but I think James Masters and Sarah Michelle Gellar always had that chemistry. So I think you could write something in where they have a fantastic conversation, and then again reignite that spark with Buffy throughout the season and help them take down Angel. Now I do want this series to culminate in Buffy eventually killing Angel. I want there to be some nice emotional payoff, and I want this to really tug on your heartstrings, especially with Buffy having to kill Angel. She is going to dust him for good, and I want to paint a similar message towards the end of sort of the Angel season, as if like the fight goes on, evil will always be there in the world, but at the same time you want to tackle a lot of real world issues, and I want the Buffy Spike rape scene in particular to be tackled once again, and I want that to be sort of reflected upon in the new Slayers and all those just sort of not controversial but really real world issues and real world themes to be tackled in this show, you know, themes about growing up in the current society, and things like that. I just don't want it to be sort of a show where you pander messages. I don't want anything along the lines of that. I want it to tackle real world problems, real world issues kids have to face. You know, it's going to be Buffy in the modern world, so there's going to be a lot of use of technology, but at the same time you have all those supernatural elements, you have all those demons coming into play. So this is just my pitch for a new Buffy show, a Buffy sequel, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you do enjoy it. I hope you do take out any criticisms you have, anything you would like to add. Please put in the comment section what you like, what you didn't like. This is just a quick 5-10 minute thing I wrote down 2 weeks ago and then pitching just on camera, in the hope that you never know who's going to see it. So yeah, I hope you guys do enjoy it. I hope you have a fantastic time watching this, and God bless you all. This is just me shooting my shot, and this is something I cooked up within 5 or 10 minutes. Everything is raw at the moment, and as you see, I didn't articulate my points across particularly well, and I hope you think I did, but in my opinion I didn't. But this is just a really raw, uncut, I guess, proposal for a Buffy sequel, and I've got a Marvel one on the way, so stay tuned for that. And as always guys, been your boy Elie Moses. Take care, God bless, I hope you have a fantastic day, and peace.